Hello, hello, and welcome everybody back to a Notch Higher Living YouTube channel where spaces are created and environments are cultivated so that healthy relationship skills can be learned, developed, practiced, and thrive. We have another very special guest today and is Monick Halm. How are you, Monique?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Jasmine.
You are welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So, I'm going to read from your book. Monique has written a book. Here you go. If you can see it, Invest Like a Goddess. And it's a wonderful read. I have read the book, and I have Monique on here today because her focus is helping women in the financial realm through real estate. So I'm just going to read some of the things that you're definitely going to want to listen to this interview today. So, Monick Halm is an educator and advocate for women to create passive income streams through real estate investing with a mission. I love this, with a mission to assist 1 million women to achieve financial freedom through real estate. She is herself a real estate investor and syndicator with over 15 years of real estate investing experience. And with her husband, partners, and investors, she controls over 1,000 rentals units across 13 states. That's major. She is also the founder of Real Estate Investor Goddesses, the host of Real Estate Investor Goddesses podcast, a #1 best-selling author, real estate strategy mentor, a TEDx speaker, recovering attorney. That one made me laugh. An avid road traveler, a wife, and a mother of 3 amazing kids. So if you don't know why we have her on here, now you know. She's an awesome woman. So, Monique, we're just going to get right into this interview. Thank you again for coming. What was behind? Can you share with your viewers how you came up with that mission to help 1 million women create passive income through real estate investing? How did that come about?
Yeah, it was this divine download. I'd been I started investing in 2005,
Okay.
though it wasn't. I basically got an investment property so I could afford to have a house in LA, and then I was flipping houses and um, doing one-off projects. I hadn't done that much until about 2016.
Okay.
I learned about bringing groups of investors together to purchase larger properties. And so you read that I was a recovering attorney. So I started my career life as an attorney,
Okay.
and by 2008, 2009, I stopped practicing. It's a whole story about
Mm,
that, but I
okay.
became a coach, and I was doing abundance coaching for women.
Oh,
I sort
nice.
of transitioned into that. So I was already working with women around money.
Okay.
And then I discovered this syndication, which is essentially crowd-funded real estate. And I learned through a
Okay.
mentor that I could bring groups of investors together to purchase larger properties. And, you know, and in the meantime, helping, really being able to scale, but then helping these my passive investors. And when I went to learn how to do this, this was the beginning of 2016. I went to a conference. It was actually my first real estate investing conference. And I they were talking about how you do this, you build a brand, build a network, think about who you want to work with. And I remember it was a Friday and Saturday. And we'd
Okay.
stayed over Saturday night because it was like afterwards networking. Sunday morning, I was in the hotel gym, I was on the elliptical, and I was thinking back about, over the weekend, and it hit me. It's like, wow, there were 120 people at that conference. Maybe 8 were women. There were very few women in the room.
Wow.
And I had joined this high-end mastermind after that event to learn for real estate investing. In that mastermind, there was 19 men and me. That's the only woman. And I was on this elliptical thinking, like sort of processing
Mm,
what I was hearing,
right.
who do I want to work with. And then it came as this divine download because like bring women into this room. I'd already been working with women around money, a
Okay.
lot of the mindset piece, but it's like, real estate investing, I believe, is one of the best ways to build wealth in this
Mm,
country. And it's perfect for women. A lot of we have a lot of challenges. There's a with income and working, right? Women get paid less for the same hours. There's a mommy tax. We lose time if
Sure.
we go off for to raise kids, or help with parents. There's a our other loved ones, and we end up getting hurt as women financially over time. But with real estate,
Right.
it's a real way to level the playing field. You if people pay market rent, doesn't matter if the landlord's a woman or a man.
That's
The-
true.
There's and you as a real estate investor, you put in a tenant after expenses. What comes back is passive income. It doesn't matter if you're off taking care of kids. It doesn't matter if you're working
Right.
another job or you're on a
Okay.
vacation or whatever. You're sleeping. That money comes in, and then it also, having property is one of the best ways to build your net worth. And there's a huge wealth gap
Mm,
between men and women. So wealth in terms of net worth gap. So for every dollar that a man has, a single woman only has 32 cents.
wow.
And it's even
Wow.
worse when you factor in race. So for every dollar of net worth that a white man has, single white man, a single black or Latina woman has less than one penny.
Wow.
So, and real estate is one of the quickest, easiest ways to flip that and to balance that playing field. But there were no women in the room.
Mm,
And it came as this divine download. It was like God said to me, "Here's your mission. Should you choose to accept it, uh, help 1 million women create financial freedom through real estate." And I got this full like chills and a full
mm,
body yes. Like,
I bet.
okay. I was like, yeah, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it.
Right, right.
And God said, "You don't need to. I'll just tell you the next step and the next step." And just one step at a time. That's how I've been doing this.
Wow. That's beautiful. And it really does take that, right? One step at a time. You hear, and then one step at a time. Wow. So thank you for honoring the call to do this and move forward with the mission. So
Thank you. Yeah.
go ahead.
No, it still feels far away, but then when I think, okay, well, I have like 32,000 women on my list and 30, it's just like little by little we're
Right.
making a difference.
It's interesting that you said that because I did some math today and I divided 1,000 into 1 million and it equaled 1,000. So I was just like, wow, if you do it simply by the math, it really would only be 1,000 people who would be willing to create that same momentum with 1,000 people. Sometimes we have to, I like how you said the abundance mindset. We have to not try to figure everything out, but allow ourselves the opportunity to see how it could happen. So when
Yeah.
I did the math that way, I was just like, well, one person can reach 1,000 people. So 1,000 people,
Yeah.
I like how you said it. Like it came to you and you allowed yourself to believe and just keep moving. So thank you for doing that. How about
Yeah. Thanks. I like your point too, which is what I say in my events. Um, we have a mantra like, I am here to be financially free and to bring others along with me.
mm,
So,
yeah,
and that is, so I tell my goddesses, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to reach 1 million people, but if I can help you, and then you reach behind and you help her,
there
and
you
she
go.
reaches it behind and she helps her,
There you go.
I said, soon we'll be there.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, in your book, you interview 26 other real estate investors who are female, who are women. What is the significance of having that real experience in one book? Why did you think to do 26 women in one book?
Um, yeah, so I thought I wanted to just gather some of my favorite interviews
Okay.
and share the wisdom of these women. Because we make as we go through this process, right? We're going to make mistakes and we're going to have some hard-earned learning.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can, it's those like nuggets of advice when you're ready that can help you avoid a costly mistake, that can help you catapult forward. And I thought if I could bring this together, all this advice together in then like an easy to digest format. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody reads it and if they just get this one nugget or this other nugget that just says, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, if I implement that, if I do that, or I didn't even think about doing this in this way. And they can take that and use it,
Mm-hmm.
then I thought that is a great way to help more people. There's a lot of different things I do. There's a podcast, I have my training program. We put things on YouTube or TikTok, whatever,
Right, right.
Instagram. And but I love books. Books are I'm a total bibliophile. I like you. I'm
Yes.
sure I'm
Yes.
a book
Yes.
addict. I love books. I actually
Yes.
literally went to like I might need a 12-step program for books because I read so
Guilty.
much.
Guilty.
I was like,
My name
I
is
actually
Jasmine.
found one and I went to like a few. I was like, it's kind of yeah, it's a problem sometimes.
That's too funny. No,
But
I think it's okay. I think
yeah,
look,
I'm like, I think it's all right, but
we're
it's
fine.
every once in a while, I'm like, I read. I don't watch TV, but a lot of books. Um,
A lot of books. Same.
yeah,
Same.
and it's like sometimes just that you can have that as a resource, or just even flip through it. And I like to just open things at random and see like, what's the message I'm supposed to get right now.
Right,
And
right. I
so, yeah,
agree.
it just came to me to put it together and just share some of this advice from these really brilliant women.
I love it. And you did that very gracefully and it did it succinctly because when I read the book, to your point, every woman's story, it was so unique and so different, but it gave me the insight of, oh, wow, they tried by starting, or some people, I want to say, fell into it, or I heard or read. And when I say I heard, because that's what books do for me, my brain follows the story, so it's alive.
Yeah.
So, but I read several people say that they stumbled into it, that wasn't what they were expecting to do. But when they were there, kind of like what you said with your download, you said, okay, once you take the first step, then the next step will appear. So,
Yeah.
one thing that I really highly recommend women to get this book is that it opens your mind to a new perspective. Even reading your story, Monica, how you decided after hearing a mentor say, you don't have to just invest in the state that you're in. And it just, for you, opened up a different world, and a light bulb went off to say, like, oh, I never considered anything otherwise. So this is definitely what the book will do for you, and allowing you to see a different perspective and
Yeah.
sitting in other people's shoes in their own voice, in their own tone. So that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. I'm so happy you're saying that because that's exactly what it was. That was my intention for the book.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did it. You accomplished it.
Yeah.
So one thing, you had a webinar, and I'm going to read this because I don't want to miss what I want to say. How to get started in real estate investing. You go over 4 myths that women have about real estate investing. So from your expertise and from your experience, what is like the top myth that keep many women from investing into real estate?
I think the main one I hear is they don't have enough money. So a lot of women, however much money they have, they just assume it's going to cost a lot more. And
Okay.
there are ways of investing that are zero to no money down. I have a free guide on my website at reigoddesses.com
Okay.
/free dash guide. And it's investing in real estate from $1 to $1 million,
Oh,
investing
wow.
strategies for every budget and every goddess.
Okay.
Because I kept hearing that like I don't have enough, especially people who live in expensive markets like I do in LA.
Hmm.
And you're looking at the median cost of a house and it's like $800,000, like I can't invest.
Exactly.
But
Yes. Yes.
you think you can invest. there are a lot of different strategies. You may not be investing where you live. My mentor taught me, and that was a piece of advice and a paradigm shift when
Hmm.
he said, live where you want to live, invest where the numbers make sense. And, when that totally opened me up, because until he said that, I thought I had to invest where I could drive to my property, touch it,
Yes,
self-manage it.
yes,
That
yes.
didn't occur to me that I could invest somewhere else, especially in markets where they're like so much more affordable. I have, you know, the, we're, we're buying we're helping my family buy property here in LA.
Okay,
It's a, pretty decent, it's like 775,000, which
okay.
is, and then I'm looking at some properties in Ohio, and you're like,
Oh,
these
the
are probably
Midwest.
like 50,000, 60,000,
Easy.
for like a 10, I can get 10 houses,
Right, right.
for the price of this one property
Hmm.
in LA, 10 cash flowing houses. Uh,
Okay.
so that's, it's just, yeah, it's getting advice like that. But people think that they don't have enough money, but there are plenty of strategies. And in that guide, I do share strategies that require actually zero to to little money down.
Oh,
And
nice.
so there are a lot of different things that we can do, and never have to be. And most of the myths are about resources. So in general, so women don't feel like they have enough resources to get into real estate. The resource of time, the resource of
Mm-hmm.
money or time or relationships, and they're afraid that without those resources that they can't get in the game. But
Okay.
it's not about resources. It's really about being resourceful. And anything that you're lacking, you can always partner with somebody else that has what you
Yeah,
don't have, and you're contributing something else.
so true.
So yeah, so there's always ways to do it. And that's why those are myths.
So true. And with your last statement about being resourceful, I think the way that you have approached, and you approach a historically male dominated industry, which is real estate, with a feminine flow. So you definitely have the womanly touch on that. Why do you approach it such as the divine femininity versus the masculine approach to real estate? What is your reason for doing that?
Yeah. So I have been studying the divine feminine and like how we show up in the world as women,
Okay.
since 2004. And I it, we're chromosomally different than men. Our brains are wired differently.
Yes.
Like, women aren't just smaller, less hairy men. We have some differences in
More
how
than that, yes.
yeah, and how we approach life, how we approach money. And for men, investing is a challenge or a game.
Mhm.
For
Yes.
women, our brains look at it as a threat. And there's some other differences, but in our culture, we're taught to show up in a masculine way. And the masculine way is, like, no pain, no gain, man up, hustle through, right? Like, that's
Very
what we're
true.
often taught.
Yes.
It's a very competitive paradigm, um, and it's very logical paradigm, and like use logic, work hard, and then it's like dog eat dog, you compete. The feminine is, instead of muscling through, for women, we pleasure through. Pleasure is our path of least resistance. Pleasure is, the secret sauce for women. Um, and it's a big part of the goddess secret sauce. There are four parts. So the one is that the pleasure piece. The
Okay.
second is intuition. So women's intuition is a real thing. Everybody's intuitive. We all have intuitive capabilities, although in
Hmm.
this culture, logic is often given
More precedence, yes.
more
Hmm.
precedence over our intuitive capability.
Yes.
Um, and the but our but our logic like factors in, sorry, our intuition. And
Mhm.
as women, we have these connections between the two hemispheres of our brain that men
Mhm.
don't have. So
Okay.
women's intuition is a real thing. We're very intuitive. And what our intuition factors in are things that we're seeing on a conscious level, plus 95% that is received on a subconscious level,
Okay.
plus supraconscious level.
Mm,
And on on a conscious level, maybe we're we're noting maybe 5% of what's taking place around us
makes
because we
sense.
just can't grab everything. But maybe whoever's listening, you're hearing my voice. You might be seeing you're seeing us on the screen,
Mhm.
but on a subconscious level, your body's noting temperature changes. It's hearing traffic outside or other conversations happening.
Right.
It's
Right.
feeling energy. It's sensing a lot of different things. And all of that comes in through your intuition. And so part of this is like learning to hear it or perceive it, however it comes to you,
Mhm.
and then trust it and then take action on it. The next part of the goddess secret sauce, this feminine, this womanly piece, um, is mindset. So Tony Robbins says success is 20% strategy, 80% psychology. 80% is what happens between your ears. I think it's even more than that, honestly. But there's a certain amount of mindset work, and especially for women, because, like I said, investing feels like a threat. So there's a lot of fear that shows up, especially for women when we
Right.
are talking about investing. So being able to deal with the mindset piece, get over the fear, feel confident, and and have and take being able to take confident action is in that is a big is that piece, that mindset piece. And last but not least is sisterhood. We are wired for sisterhood. We're wired to be around other women. um Oxytocin, the feel good hormone, floods our brain. Our brain is like, yes, this feel good, it's good for you. It floods our brain when we are making love, when we're breastfeeding, and when
Mhm.
we are around groups of other women.
Yes.
Being around other women floods us with oxytocin.
Wow.
And for men, we've been taught that the stress response is fight, flight, or freeze. So
Mhm.
that's actually how men react to stress.
Right.
Women, we tend or befriend. And then there was a study at UCLA, and they found like when women, that's how we react to stress. We get together with other women. We need that sisterhood, or we take care of our kids. We take care of each other, and we tend and we befriend, and
Right.
that's how we work best in the world. So that this womanly piece, because it's not just about how do you invest in real estate, but how do you invest in real estate as a woman? How do we invite in that ease, grace, and flow um, to this process so we can be more successful and then happier? Because it's not if the journey doesn't feel good, the destination won't either. And
Mm.
life
Yes.
is
Wow.
the journey anyway.
Right. Wow. That's so true. Because if you're
Yeah.
just so rigid from the journey, like by the time you get to the destination, you're just like, I'm exhausted. I
Yeah.
Who cares about the destination? I just need a bath. I just need
Or how many have you worked hard for something and you're like, I'll be happy when, and then you
right.
get there
And
and
you
you're like,
never,
is
yes,
this it?
yes. Yeah.
Right? Like
Never make the connection.
maybe
Exactly.
you're happy for like a second and then, I was miserable in law school. I was
New car
miserable as
smell.
like
Yes, it's
and like as
over.
miserable as an associate. I was like, well, maybe, I don't like law school, but maybe when I'm an associate then and I'm a lawyer, then
Exactly.
it'll be okay. Well, being an associate
Yes,
sucks, but maybe when
exactly.
I'm a partner, and it was just like, no, it doesn't work that way. There you are. I think you're muted.
I'm going a little, I just did a couple of different things here. Sorry. So yes, that is very powerful the way that you explained it, and thank you for explaining it with such clarity and just the flow of it. What's interesting that you said is how I connected with you. I actually connected you through um, an email because you were on, who is it, Husin,
Barbara Houston.
Barbara Husin, and she's in your book. I was like, wait a minute, this is all coming together. So she was introducing you. And I think when you talked about the 10 number friend, that really made sense because she was explaining her friend was coming out with a book. And then now you were explaining that you were coming out with the book and I signed up for the pre-order and I shared it with other people too. So it makes so much sense. You didn't have to hard sell anyone. You were inviting and your friend invited. And that's how the movement took place. Even with me, I reached out to you to say, oh, thank you, congratulations. And you responded. And I was like, well, I'm not sure if this is really her, but I'll just say thank you again. It ended up being you. So the way that you're explaining this, it makes so much sense because even in the ease and flow that you communicated with me, that's how I came across your work. So it wasn't as if you were saying like, this is what I do, this is what I'm all about, buy my book or get into this. It was more
No
of like,
hard sell.
yes, no hard sell. It was just like, oh, and then when I even asked you about the YouTube interview, you said, sure. It's like, I really wonder, is this the real person? And it is. So I want to transparently share. When I was younger, I used to want to get into real estate, and I think that is why I really paid attention. And when you said the divine download, or really when you hear the whisper, I think that's the intuition. I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but the email came across my eyes and my path, and it was just like, I don't know her, she doesn't know me, but I'm interested. One, she has a book. I'm going to read it. And then two, it's about real estate. But I think the other important factor, what you're mentioning, is that I believe that we're being called to our purpose and what we are to do. We just have to be able to tune in to hear and listen. So
Yeah.
I've taken the webinar and I am going to move forward in the steps because I know the money and the fear aspect has been my greatest, or not knowing, but you have a whole network of people. And I listened, or and I read so many women who did not know how to do it, but they found a way, they were resourceful.
Yeah.
So I want to open that up for anyone who's watching this. We want to get Monique to her 1 million people, 1 million women, because 1 million women who have been connected to real estate and passive income, and they have that flow, and you can be more in your feminine goddess energy. That's going to be a beautiful thing, and not to be so hardcore and so stressed. So, Monique, if you can let us know, what would be the steps? What would be the next steps that you would have someone like? Would you have them read the book, go to the webinar, get right into your program? How would you advise a woman to get started?
Yeah. So there are different ways of coming in to that program, but I on our website, reigoddesses.com, like
Okay.
you said, there's a that you found that training, which
Mm-hmm.
is how to get started in real estate investing, even as a busy professional woman. So that's a great way to um to to find out more and to get in. So you can find that training. You can also get the free guide, or you can just go on programs and there's a it's a application process and you apply and you get on the phone with one of our team members, and if you know, yeah, I want to do this or I want to ask questions directly to somebody, you can do that. So there are a lot of different
Nice.
ways to join us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will definitely connect that in the description box so that people will have it. So, as we round the end of this interview, I would like you to provide any parting words, or what you would say to that woman who's listening and who, I don't want to say still on the fence, but who thinks that maybe, I don't know if I still can do it. What would you encourage her if you were the one encouraging you when you thought you couldn't do it? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I love this question. When I ask a huge percentage of the women that I interview, and I'll ask them, what do you wish you'd known at the beginning that you now know? Um, and one a very common answer is I wish I'd known to start sooner. I wish I'm doing a series of podcasts where I was asking women, like, some of the women in this book, and I was re-interviewing them, but just specifically focused on advice and ask them more questions. And I asked
Okay.
them, like, what's the worst advice you could give somebody? And many of them said to wait, don't start yet. That's the worst
Okay.
advice I could tell you,
Okay.
to wait longer.
Okay.
So the flip side of that is don't wait, take steps. It's like real estate investing is like planting a tree. The
Mm,
best time was
mm,
20 years ago. The next best time is now. So
I
you
love it.
want, just get in the game because there's a compounding effect of real estate investing in terms of the money you make and also the money you save because there are big tax savings to real estate. So this compounds and it is, for millennia, real estate has been the way that wealth has been created and transferred. And 90% of what millionaires become so through real estate investing. And it is so possible for women. And we're, in fact, better at it than men. And when we can get over our fears and get through it, but you don't have to do it alone. And if there's any way we can support you, a real estate investor goddess, I'd love to be able to do that. But you don't have to do it alone, but do get started. If there's anything in you that's like, "Ooh, it's very involved, wanted to do, like, follow that, follow whatever is in your heart that's guiding you forward, and take action."
Beautiful. Well, there you have it. That's all that needs to be said. Thank you so much, Monique, for coming on to share with us your wisdom, your femininity, the flow, and the possibilities for investing in real estate. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. This was
You are
fun.
so welcome. My pleasure. So, everyone, thank you again for tuning in. Until we come back, continue to be the best version of yourself because who you are is so much more important than what you do. All right? Have a great day.